Welcome to the Voiceover Gurus Podcast.
My name is Simone Agee, and this is my VO journey.
Welcome back to another episode of the Voiceover Gurus Podcast. And today we are traveling down that VO journey again. And one of my favorite ways to do the podcast is to talk to students and folks that have been in this business, maybe not as long as someone like me, but still to hear their history, their backstory, how they got to where they are is fascinating, and maybe you'll learn something from it. So today I want to welcome Simone Agee. Hello.
Hi, Linda. How are you today?
I am good. I just went for a walk outside because it's like 72 degrees here in New York. It's so nice.
It's hot here in Florida.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You guys are already getting ready for the tough time of the year. So what temperature is it right now? Since I used to live down there, I like to relate
it's got
to this
to be
stuff.
in the 80s by now. It is really humid, and the summertime is fast approaching.
Then you're going to be really humid. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. So you have an interesting background because you've had some interesting jobs before pursuing this. So tell me how you got started. Why don't we first talk about what made you think about voiceover in the first place?
Well, audiobooks is something that I absolutely love. There's something that I can go ahead and multitask while I'm doing other things, driving, doing things around the house, running errands. And I really got into how the narrating would literally color the story in your mind, and you can actually see what was happening in the plot. And I just found it so fascinating. And I found out it was a career called voiceover. And I was like, oh my gosh, I used to read to my little brother bedtime stories and things like that and do all the little character voices and just goof off. But I did not know that you could make a career out of this. So I was very interested to know more about it. I come from a background from the spa industry. I'm actually a retired massage therapist. I did it for 23 years, neuromuscular certified, sports massage certified. Worked in a lot of 5-star places like Cane Ranch. I worked for the Breakers. I worked for
These are some serious hotels and spas.
Well, having those certifications give you a specialty that really address people's problems. So voiceover came in a lot later just as interest. But the massage therapy had been there for a long time. And interestingly enough, I actually tried to leave it because massage therapists are clearly accepted now. But 20-something years ago, if you told someone you were a massage therapist, they kind of rolled their eyes. They was like, yeah, what kind of massage do you give?
They go down that road.
Oh, yeah. Or they just like, whatever. Interesting. It's just that's not a job.
Must be easy, just rubbing people all day.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you couldn't get a job with benefits or salary. You can only be an independent contractor. And now it's totally different. They have salary plus commission. They have benefits that they give massage therapists, just like any other job. So it's very accepted now, but back then it was not.
Interesting. One of my close friends is a massage therapist, and she just actually went out on her own with her own business, and she travels to people's. But I met her because I have herniated discs in my neck, and she was working out of a chiropractor's office and giving medical massages. And let me tell you, this is no relaxation thing.
No, it's not.
This is someone who knows your body, knows what the issue is, and puts you through the pain to release whatever it is that is happening. So it's not one of these, like relaxing, put on the nice music and, at least not with her. You have to have an education in the body like you do.
Yes, you do. And having those certifications allow you to be clinical like that and be more medicinal instead of just the relaxation part. And I try to always kind of ease people into it. Some people are brutes and they just start digging in, but I don't do that. I always try to, ease my way in because I've been on the other side of that. I know what it's like to have your neck and your shoulder jacked up into your ear and have to have somebody untwist it out,
Yeah.
So,
So you did that for 23
yes.
years. And then when did you move into this other career that I know you're going to tell me about?
Well, like I said, after 10 years, I did try to go ahead and walk away from massage therapy and do something that was quote unquote more serious because, like I said, it still wasn't accepted. So
Gotcha.
I was like, okay, I can go to night school and I can go into mortuary science. And mortuary science allowed me to use all my skill sets in one place. I could do administrative.
Well, how did you come, but how did that even cross your mind?
Actually, my father passed. My father
Oh,
passed away
wow.
in 2008, and I could not handle being in the arrangements. But when I saw how flawless the funeral was, how respectful and dignified it was, he was a veteran. We laid him to
Oh, wow.
rest, and it was no hiccups. And it was a really,
Mm-hmm.
really difficult time for our family. Because we were not
Sure.
expecting him to pass. He had just come out of surgery, and a couple
Oh,
hours
God.
later, he passed in his sleep. So it was a shock.
Oh.
We weren't
Mm-hmm.
prepared,
Yeah.
but the funeral home was on top of it, and I was like, okay, okay. What else do you guys do here?
That's what piqued your
Yes,
interest.
because being around anybody who's deceased is not a problem. That stuff doesn't ig me out. It doesn't gross me out. It is a part of life. And when death
Yeah.
happens, you have to have somebody who's professional, who can stay grounded and guide people
Yeah,
through
so
that, you
true.
know? So I was like, I can do that too. I can show compassion because I know what it's like to have to bury someone that you love.
Yeah.
And I
Mm-hmm.
also know what it's like to have to deal with somebody who's professional, who can help guide you without being a robot, you know, who can
Wow.
really help you understand what's going on. There's no confusion. And then they let you go and grieve privately, you know.
Mm-hmm. So how did you even find the doorway to get into a, funeral home service job? I mean, how does that even
Wow,
come
that's very
about?
difficult. It is a microverse. It's very
Yeah, it
hard
seems like it
to
would
get into
be.
the funeral service
Mm-hmm.
industry if you don't come from a family background where the family owns a funeral home, or if you can go
Wow.
the other route, which is corporate. So, me coming from no family that had any ties to the funeral service industry, I got a lot of side eyes like, why are you coming in here? Because they really want you to
Yeah.
work your way literally from the bottom up, where you're picking up flowers and Kleenex and cleaning the parking lot and things like that, and
Wow.
establish
Okay.
a relationship with them before they even consider bringing you on as an intern or putting you on a service. Yeah,
Wow.
it's tough. It's tough to get in. So,
Sounds
um,
like it.
for people that don't have family ties, I recommend going the corporate route because at least corporate they will,
Mm.
be a little bit more open to letting you come in the door.
Do you first go to school for it and then apply for a job at one of these corporate?
Well, you do have to do it's a 2 year it's a associate's degree. It is in
Mm-hmm.
science, and then you have to do in Florida. You have to do a year internship. So you do 6 months of
Oh,
funeral
wow.
directing, 6 months of embalming if you're going to do the embalming side. Florida does not require you
Mm-hmm.
to have the embalming part if you don't want. If you just want to do funeral director, you can do that.
Mm-hmm. That's a
Yes, it is.
process. That's not like an easy transition. Just go, oh, I'm waking up this morning and I decided I want to become a funeral
No.
director. That's, you know what I mean? That's not a easy entry type of job.
No, it's not. And you really have to be sure that you want to do it. But one thing about the job is never going to go anywhere. You can
Yeah,
take your
true.
time. If you don't like what you're dealing with and you want to take a break and come back and pick up your studies, I mean, nothing's going to
Mm-hmm.
change. Nothing's new in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
you're
right.
not going to come
People
back and there's a
die
bunch of
every day.
AI robots walking through the funeral home now.
Yeah, true, true. You have to have that human connection. So that's one avenue that isn't. I can't see it anywhere in the near future being affected
Mhm.
by a robotic situation. Well, one thing that it does tell me though is that you're a tough cookie and you are very persistent. Like, no, you're goal oriented and you have an attitude like I'm going to put the work in and I'm going to do it. And that is so key for something so difficult as voiceover.
Okay. Okay. I'm
You
learning a
know,
lot about
but
voiceover. It is very technical in some aspects, and the artistry comes through as well. So I'm enjoying the challenge of it because you really have to really think about what you're saying and how
Yes.
you say it.
Yeah. How are you finding it as far as being the performer goes? How are you finding that?
I think I tend to overanalyze. That's
Mm-hmm.
something that we talked about in our coaching sessions was my accent. My Southern accent does tend to come out, and I have to really watch not cutting off my words like I tend
Mm-hmm.
to do
Right,
in
right.
regular conversation.
Yeah, right. But now, as far as the wrapping your head around it, because did you do any acting or any kind of singing or anything before you became a massage therapist when you were
Yeah,
younger?
I've always been musically inclined. So I did chorus all throughout middle school. We did plays all throughout there in high school. So I was used to being in front of people. And also, I'm a pastor's daughter. So at the drop
Okay,
of a
yeah.
hat, my mom would put me in front of the church and go read the scripture.
Oh, that's
So when
perfect. Well,
it
that's a
comes to
great
that part,
foundation.
I'm not nervous about, but I think when you analyze the script, make sure you get your breaths in and really try to convey the what the intent is. If you're going to be warm and inviting or you're going to be informational, I have to pick up on that a
Yeah.
lot faster.
Yeah, you seem to already have a bit of a background in it. That's definitely has to be helpful during this time.
Yes.
So now, when did you start to really decide you're going to start to take the training and all that? How long has it been?
It's been a couple years for me transitioning out of massage therapy, and then last year when I was really going to buckle down and get into it, I wrote down my goals. I had my plan of attack, well, I should say 2022. Then my mom got ill, and a couple of months later
Mm.
then she wound up passing. So
Oh my goodness.
everything that I had planned for myself obviously got put on hold, becoming a caretaker and dealing with, the
Sure.
hospital, the doctors, the nurses, and all that.
That's life. Life just gets in the way sometimes, and we have to put, some ambitions on hold, but it doesn't mean you can't come back to
Which
it.
is why you've been seeing me a lot
Um,
more often.
yeah, 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 yeah. But it's so true. And that's one great thing about doing voiceover is that no one is measuring you and saying, oh, well, you've only done 5 voiceovers in the last, 10 days. So you can't audition for this. It's like, no, you, you can pretty much audition for anything at any given time if you want
Well,
to,
that's what I'm
you
hearing,
know?
that you've become a professional auditioner.
Yes. But the moment you book your first job and somebody says, here's some money, Simone, you're like, I'm a professional. I'm a voiceover professional. That's all it takes. That's all it
Yes,
takes.
yes. So the funeral industry itself, it definitely has its challenges. Like I said, the embalming part never bothered me. I was always good at doing hair and makeup. I used to do it on my family and friends all the time. So when someone passed
Wow.
away, that was my goal, to make them look like they were asleep and not deceased, you know. And I got
Mm-hmm.
really good at it.
That is artistry
It
right
is
there.
artistry.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot of technical things you have to do. But I enjoy it because there's nothing like when a family gets the courage to just peek in the casket, and they go, I
Yeah,
just,
and
I don't
see.
know, but I just need to know if it's her, and you open it, and they go, oh my gosh, she looks beautiful.
Right.
And then you just,
Wow. Did you ever have one so challenging that you couldn't make it work?
well, the family knew. The family knew. It was a
Yeah.
tough case, and by the time I got done, even they were surprised at how much better the deceased looked. They was like, we know she was very ill before she passed, and yeah, you guys
Wow.
did a really good job. So
Wow. That's got to make you feel
it
good.
does. It does. It's a
And
part of the
then,
mission. The whole point is to at least give the family a chance to have some type of closure.
right, right. And help them with the healing
Hmm.
process.
Hmm.
And have a good memory of the last time that they see their loved one
That's
too.
right.
Yeah, that's a big responsibility there.
It is, and I took it very seriously. Before I retired it, that was a whole thing that I never ever let go of. That it's all about the family. I never let
Mm,
anybody else's egos get in the way. Attitudes of sales goals, like you have to deal with corporate.
mm-hmm.
It was always, if I was sitting on the other side of this table, how would I want to be spoken to? you know
Yeah.
what
Do you think that helps you with your, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but do you think that helps you when it comes to finding a motivation for a particular type of read for a voiceover?
It does. You deal with all kinds of different personalities, and I take all those experiences and I try to pour them into my voiceover work when I'm practicing, when I'm auditioning. It's just a part of it. You meet so rich of different personalities of people that you could pull from.
Yes.
And I just really enjoy that, when you meet people. That's something that you can use to
Mm-hmm.
go, you know what? I like the way that she sounds so dignified. So if I ever run into an audition like that, I'll know to sound really proper and sit up extra straight
Yeah.
and get that breath in.
Yeah. That's character study
Yeah.
too. Character study of people in your life too. So what do you think's been the most challenging thing for you so far as a voice actor?
Just continuing to have the confidence. Once you
Mm.
get that radio silence when you're waiting for a response, it's like, did I do something right? Maybe I should have took a breath there.
Are you talking about in a workout? Are you talking about in a workout perchance?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Look,
it'll rattle you
it's
like,
been
I didn't
many
hear
years for
anything back,
me.
so maybe I should have. Well, let me look at the script again. Overanalyzing.
I feel for all of you because it's been years since I was in that moment, in that moment, in that situation. And I know how nervous I used to be. And then you wouldn't hear anything and you'd be like, oh my God, I was terrible. I must have ruined something. You automatically go down
Yes,
that road of like, I did something
yes.
wrong. I did something wrong. It's not good
Very
enough.
easy to go down that
But
rabbit
yeah,
hole.
yeah, yeah. So maintaining that confidence, you think, is the most difficult thing so far for
Yes.
you. And that's a common thing. I mean, I don't know. Other than maybe Brian Lee, who claims he's never not confident, which I think is ridiculous. Come on, you gotta have. There is something inside of you somewhere that kind of pokes and says, "Oh, maybe that wasn't good enough today."
Yeah.
You know, it exists in all of us, whether we want to admit it or not.
Okay. Well,
You know.
I'm learning and I'm willing to learn more
Yeah.
and more. I love the workout classes because you get to hear so many different types of voiceovers coming through. And
Ah,
just the approaches, the
that's the
artistic
best.
approach. Love that.
Yeah, yeah, that is the best too. And you hear other people's interpretations of sometimes maybe a script that you
Hmm.
did, or someone else did, and you hear how they interpret it, which is fantastic. Have you participated in the? You haven't done the script read challenge yet, have you?
No, not
In the
yet. Not
community,
yet.
you gotta do it because that's another way to listen to the other folks that are submitting their take on the sample
I
script that I
did peek at
post.
the Behringer one. I listened to, I think,
Okay.
about four people. And I was like, okay, one guy had music in the background. I was like, excuse me.
I know. Some people are getting crazy and they're mixing them, and I think some people do two versions. I mean, they're getting I know, very
Hey.
ambitious. They don't need to. It's a script read challenge, but I think it's great that they're having fun with it.
Yes.
You know, so you should definitely participate if you can. If you have the time, because it's good to get the feedback as well with likes if somebody. Even though we don't do any coaching involving with it, but at least if you know that your read was good, somebody's going to say something and you're going to go, oh, I didn't realize I was
Yeah, I
good
was
then.
going to try the Behringer, but by the time I was going to submit mine, you guys had already closed it. I was like, oh, I missed my window. But you guys always submit a weekly challenge. So look forward to going
Yeah,
in and submitting my name at one point.
good. So have you had a moment yet, Simone, where you're like, you read something or some voiceover that you did and you're like, oh my gosh, I think I can do this?
Yes, yes, and I was very surprised because it was for a dog food commercial. But
Okay.
it was basically talking about how the dog is the best friend and using this product gives them the best health. And I was like, okay, that's something that is very cool, and you have to definitely sound engaging and conversational. So I want to practice that skill
Hmm.
set because that's very common now. That's what I see a lot of people looking for,
Oh, yeah.
conversational reads.
Hmm. So when you did that read, you felt
Yeah, I felt good.
confident?
I didn't get the job, but
Yeah, but you
I had
still felt
fun
good
with the
doing
read.
it?
I liked it. I liked the script, and I really enjoyed it. And I was like, you know what? Okay, yeah, I think I can do this more.
So now, is your life flexible work-wise so that way you can possibly start auditioning during the
Yes.
day? Okay, so that's great. So you've set yourself up so that could be now more of a reality for you.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing more and more of it. It's just that there's so many scripts to choose
Yeah.
from, and there's so many different avenues, and that I love because it's not going to get boring. You could do
Yeah.
narration,
Yeah.
you could do commercials, you could do advertising, you could do e-narration, you could do so much.
It's kind of mind-blowing how many jobs are out
Yeah.
there. I mean, I know, I realize there's so much competition, but the fact that there are so many opportunities is very exciting because it's true. And you might fall in love with a genre you didn't even realize you might be good at, you know?
Well, I wish I would spoke more than one language because there's definitely a big pocket for that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Wow. Do you see that? The bilingual,
I
the
know.
Spanish one, Mandarin.
I wish that my folks had forced me to continue in Spanish when I was a little kid. I know, because I'd be making so much more money. But anyway, alas, here we are, and that did not happen. But regrets. I'm looking back, regrets. That's one of my regrets. So what about a dream client for you? If you could book any client, what would be who would be your dream client or dream product?
I would say Coca-Cola. They had some of the best commercials. They were funny. They were engaging. Some of them
Okay.
had singing in it. And, I was like, man, I would love to do that.
So Coca-Cola's, it's what strikes
Yeah, because
your
they
your
have so
fancy.
many different approaches that they come. They got the holiday commercials. They have the
Mm-hmm.
close-up sound effects where you can hear the fizz and the bubbles with the ice, and you hear the guy that does the voiceover for it. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. What about but I could hear your voice suited for some luxury stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Really?
because I never thought that. I was thinking more commercial things for me, but
But it could be a luxury commercial,
I'll
so
try it.
it's just the style. Because I think we have worked on a few of those things because I can remember now you have a very nice read with that.
Oh,
So you got to open yourself up. You never
well,
know.
yes, I will try it. I'm willing, and I'm willing to learn more because there's a lot to take in, and sometimes the approach you have to take a step back and go, you know what, take a deep
Mm-hmm.
breath, really think about what the client wants. Make sure you get your breath pauses
Right.
in with the script read, and just settle into the pocket. you know.
Right. Mm-hmm. So how far along do you think you are? Have you set up your studio yet?
It's halfway set up. I'm being very nitpicky. Unfortunately, in my neighborhood, there's a neighborhood DJ who loves to blast
Oh no.
his car music or whatever, and that bass comes thumping through. So I got to get more high density
Oh,
foam to put into
yeah,
the
to try to block
corners.
that out. That's
Mhm.
tough. Mm-hmm. That's
It is
tough.
tough. It is tough. And there was a wedding or something like that, and he really had a real blast then. So, but I know he made a lot of people angry because everybody was trying to go to sleep at 2 a.m. So yeah,
Sure. They don't have noise ordinances where you live?
they do, but you know how it is. If it's a celebration like that, obviously like a wedding, then people kind of cut it a little slack. But I know he got on a lot of people's nerves.
Yeah. That seems to be one of the biggest issues that so many people have, obviously, is figuring out in your neighborhood or wherever you live the proper time that you can get that
Yeah.
quiet. And for some folks, it's really hard.
Yes.
I have a student who lives in Queens, here in New York, on Queens Boulevard, okay, which is one of the most heavily trafficked, noisy streets. And he's like stuck. He can't, unless he packs up his family, but his parents also live in the same building. It's this whole thing that he's trying to figure out how to do it. But that's a serious struggle. And then I have some students that can only work at night.
Oh,
And then I have some students that can't work at night because they're going to be bothering people that are next door to them. It's a whole load of challenges that initially in this stage
yes.
you face.
Yes, and
You
I'm
know.
learning more about it because I actually had a little tinnitus. So when I was doing my research with soundproofing my walk-in closet, basically,
Uh-huh.
I heard other voiceover actors go, you got to get your high density foam in there because the bass it'll just travel right through the wall. even with your HVAC systems, when they come on, you got to have something to dampen or deaden that sound. And having tinnitus, whenever he would try to play the music and that bass would throb, I would definitely hear it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
and it would
rough.
reverberate in my ear. And once my tinnitus cleared, I was like, I really get what they were talking about with that. It's true,
Right.
100%.
That's an interesting challenge. Hmm.
So
So now you're no longer doing the massage therapy?
that's right.
Okay, and you're no longer working in the
That's
funeral
right.
home industry. Okay, so how are you financing your voiceover dreams?
So I had savings, and I also work
Okay.
from home part time. So that's what I've
Okay,
been
good.
doing.
Awesome. That's always an important thing, and I like to talk about it since, we want to make sure that we have a little bit of a foundation there
Course,
in case it takes a bit to book a
yes,
job. And that way you don't have
famine, and
that
it was like that for
those freak out
well,
modes.
feast or famine for massage therapy too. It's either you had a lot of clients or you barely had a trickle during the summer. So I'm used to that.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me, but it's just making sure that I feel comfortable with the script, and I've definitely done my research and with the company and try to see what they really look for. You know.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like you've got things squared away there, lady.
Yeah, I'm in the beginning stages. Hopefully I'll be old soldier 20 years from now. It's like, yes, I've done this much VO work.
Well, you keep at it with that attitude, and I have no doubt that you'll find some
Oh,
success.
thank you.
Because it's the hard work is really where it's
hmm
at. And as long as you can get your craft mastered after that, it's blood, sweat, and
And
tears.
see, a lot of people don't look at it
So,
like that. It's actually really a craft.
hmm
They think it's
yeah, I mean, once you get, and yeah, I feel like it's a craft too that you can never
hmm
stop learning because things change and you have to keep up with what's happening in the business. But just like anything else, once you've got your product solid and you feel confident about it, product being your read, then it's pounding the pavement and getting out there and keeping your head screwed on straight so that way you can get through the stressful times and the times when you don't book a client or whatever, or you have, dry patches. So this week I'm like deader than dead, and it's just, it
It's
happens,
like a
but yet,
seasonal thing, though. Do you guys have like a
no. I used to think that. And then that's why I always prepare myself like, oh, August is coming. I'm always dead during August. And all of a sudden I get all this work.
hmm,
So the same thing last fall. Usually things really slow down for me. But from Thanksgiving to the new year, I was packed
that's good
for
though.
2023. But it just, you can't, there's no rhyme or reason sometimes. It's just a matter of being available and making hay while the sun shines, as they
hmm
say,
There is
because I have not found it to
there's
be
definitely
seasonal.
seasons for massage therapy and funeral service. Believe it or not.
Hmm?
Yes, the summertime is a very slow time for massage therapy, especially here in Florida because the snowbirds go back, and then people
Okay, but
travel.
what about
People travel.
but people continue to die. So are they not dying in the summer?
For the funeral service industry, actually we actually call it the season of death. So literally from Rosh Hashanah into the new year, right after the new year, we are slammed in the death industry. And this simply because of the
Wow.
holidays. People hold on to see the grandkids, the great grandkids one more
Oh my
time. And as soon
gosh.
as Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's happens, there is a flux of deceased coming through every time, every year,
Wow.
like clockwork.
Wow. That's
hmm
fascinating.
Well, they want to see the kids
So
one more time, to see the grandkids. So love will hold it, will stay death. It really will.
they'll keep you. That's fascinating. Well, I learned something
Yes,
today. This is
yes.
great.
I just can't tell you how many times it's happened. From the 8.5 years that I served in funeral service, it was a pattern every time, every time.
So what about a slow period though?
It slowed down in the spring. We didn't see as
Hmm.
much, but the common thing is, for the elderly to pass. And
Okay.
unfortunately, the what we call the season with the holidays, a lot of people are not happy with the holidays. So if they did have good family
Gotcha.
connections, they hold on to see the family. But if they don't have any family connections, then the loneliness makes them want to give up. So that's
Oh,
what happens.
okay.
And obviously, we also see holidays with younger people, from suicides, homicides, and things like that
Yeah.
take place around the holiday times every time. Yeah.
Wow. Is that a
Yeah,
cat?
he's my cat. He's vocal. I'm sorry.
I hear him. No, trust me. I have several cats, so I'm fine with it. Just not at the studio. I wish I did. So, okay. So I want to end on a high note here when we talk about funerals. Have you ever done a funeral that the service has been this like crazy party, happy, upbeat thing, celebration of life?
A happy celebration life? Actually, no. They
Oh,
might start out like it'll be positive, but as we continue on, maybe about halfway, it'll pick up and it'll get somber again. It gets sad. Be like, I can't believe we about to go to the cemetery now, and it hits them
oh
again. You know what
man.
I mean? But yeah, the happiest I've ever seen was someone who battled cancer a long time, and when she did pass, it was a relief.
Oh, okay.
And
Right.
although the family, they were respectful, you can just see that, we know
Yeah.
she's not suffering now.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was more like
There's truth to that
that.
too. All right, so that didn't work, and to try to get a positive thing happening. How about, let's see, we talked about your dream client. Have you ever come across a script that you're like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun, I want to do this script?
Not yet. I've seen a couple of them that had me laughing because of the way they lined it out.
Okay.
One was a coffee one, and what was the other one? I think it was for a girl's doll or something like that, and it was cute. It was cutesy, and it just made me smile reading it. But no, not laughing
Okay.
where I couldn't get through it, and not try to audition for it properly. No.
And it was upbeat and happy,
Yes.
which is a good thing too. So, okay, wonderful. There we go. We're ending it on a good note. Thanks so much for sharing your story, because I hope this helps inspire folks of all walks of life and backgrounds that if you want to do voiceover, you can do
Yes.
it. Just a matter of making that decision and moving forward. I do love that about this business. Is just that all of us come with such varying backgrounds and experiences that to find out what someone did in a prior life and now they're pursuing a passion, it's very rewarding. Very rewarding. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
And that wraps it up for another episode of the Voiceover Gurus podcast and the VO journey. And yeah, we've got, of course, workouts and stuff. The best way to reach us is to go onto our website at voiceover.guru and join us for a workout. Simone was just talking about the workouts, and we have a lot of fun in those. We're actually doing a happy hour one tonight, which should be
I
interesting.
will be there.
Oh, oh, cool. All right, good. Okay, good. I'm going to prep you for it because I just talked to Kevin about what we're going to be bringing to the table tonight.
Ooh,
So,
what topic? What are
yes,
we doing?
I know. There's an actual menu I have created, a voiceover happy hour menu. So this is just going to be fun. It's going to be 90 minutes of fun. This is our first time trying it. We're going to see how it goes. Libation, you bringing a libation?
Oh, we have to bring a libation with us? Okay, yes. I can whip up something in here.
It's encouraged because it is a happy hour and we are just relaxing and chilling. This isn't going to be the traditional coaching
Okay, yeah.
thing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there we go. This is a good way to end the podcast. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us, and we will see you real soon.